I use my 6-inch drywall knife for this. I'll take a little piece of wood or anything where I can put my Bondo on to mix it. I'm going to start off with Bondo glass to fill those holes. I'll come back over with regular Bondo. That way I can get it good and smooth with the creamy part. The glass doesn't go as smooth, but it fills real well. I wiped off everything with acetone. You can use a denatured alcohol if you want. You just want to make sure you don't have any dust or anything like that on there. You want it clean with no impurities in it. That way the Bondo sticks on there real well. Okay, make sure you mix this up real good. It's just like paint, primer, or anything else. You don't want it settling in there. You want to mix it up real good before you use it. I'm going to put it on here, put my creamer separate. When I get up there, I'm going to mix it because I like to mix it hard where it dries fast. Alright, I'm going to put this in, put a little pile right here. Now I'm going to get up there and get it together. This is a pretty decent sized hole, so it's probably going to take a couple of coats to do it. And I just mix it up. And you'll see it's going to get red in color because I mixed a good bit of hardener with it. I want this to harden up fast. Also, if you put a little more hardener in it and you wait a couple of seconds, it'll start stiffening up to where you can fill that hole and it won't ooze out on you. That helps out. I have a nice brown color here, brownish red. And I'm gonna mix it till it gets a little bit stiff. See, right now it's not quite ready. It's oozing a little too much. When I fill it in that hole, it's just gonna fall right out. I want it to get a little bit stiff. You don't have much time once it starts stiffening up. You've got to put it in there. Still a little bit too runny. You'll see when it starts, it's going to start getting hard fast now. Now I can start working it in that hole. I can feel it getting consistent. Still wants to ooze out a little bit. You see it? But it's starting to fill. I can work it until it starts hardening up, and that's fine. When it does that, I know I'm good. I'll be ready to almost filled up the whole cavity already. I have one little spot that's stubborn. Once it hardens up enough, I can fill that. Got a little left over. I'll fill in some holes that I need to do. I clean my knife off. I keep it sharp so I can come back and scrape it or cut it when I need to. Before this really gets solid, it's hard to the touch, but it's kind of gooey. That's what you want. When it's a little sticky, you can come back and clean this edge off and you won't have to sand it. Gets rid of a lot of work, a lot of extra work that you don't need. Just run it straight up. That's why I wanted this edge right here, so I could take my blade and run on this edge and get a good point right there, a good corner, without having to work it as much. I always clean my knife off and my board off that I'm working on before it dries really hard, so you can just scrape it off real easily. Now we're ready to put the Bondo on here. I mix that up, and I won't need as much because I'm just going to top coat this and then fill in a couple of little cracks. So put this on here and we'll take care of that. Again, with my cream hardener, I put it on the side. I don't put it in there until I get up top and ready to work. So I'm ready to work with it. Once it starts turning nice and red or pink and it's evenly mixed, start putting it on. I don't have a whole lot of time to work with it. First I'm going to fill in this. It goes on a little heavy, that's fine. Like I said, you clean it off after. Fill in that little gap. It's not much of one, so it's going to be real easy to fill. Looks like I mixed up just enough to cover it. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you're going to come back and sand it. You might put another little finish coat on there after. I just wanted to show you this because not everybody's going to cut this perfect. You have sun in your eyes, you have a lot of different things when you're trying to cut underneath this eave. It's not a big deal. That's easy fix. What I'm going to do is fill in that fiberglass, Bondo glass, in that hole. Put a little bit on the sides of it around the whole area so I can put this tape on. When this tape goes on, I'm going to kind of float it into there. Once it sticks into there and it dries, when I sand it, this paper is just going to come right off. I want this to dry pretty fast. So what I'm going to do is mix it a little hot. You see how I have a little bit more red there? When I mix this up, I'm going to let it get a little bit consistent before I put it on there so it doesn't sag quite so much. But I can work it. When I put that tape on there, it's going to stay. I took my sander and I ran it back and forth across here and made sure everything was really smooth before I put this on, because I don't want to have a big ridge on one side. I want to make sure I can have a smooth surface to work with. Now I'm going to start putting it in there. See how it wants to come down? It's going to a little bit. But this is especially why I use the Bondo glass and not just regular Bondo or plastic filler. Alright, I'm going to start on one side at a time, so it's going to want to come down. Doesn't matter if it's long, I can cut it. It's easy to deal with. Put some on top of it. Like I said, it's going to sand right off. And I'm done. You won't even know that's there. While I'm waiting for the soffit to dry, I'm going to go ahead and hit this fascia. I'm using 80 grit sandpaper. Make sure you use a dust mask. First time you start sanding on this, it's going to eat the pad up quick or gum it up. So I use my older pad for this. Once you get that top layer off, you switch pads and it just cuts right through it. Just remember this, once this pad gets a little gummed up, don't keep using it. You'll burn this and it'll start peeling off. You want to sand it. It sands real easy once you get that gumminess junk off of it. But don't just keep using it. Even the second pad, if it starts to, you see that it's starting to gum up or it's not working well, change pads again. You'll sand it a lot better that way. Because if the pad is dirty or gummed up, all it will do is rub on there real hard and start burning. Once it burns and heats up the Bondo is going to peel off. This is why I like to work 2 sections at a time. I sand that while this is drying. Now I'm sanding underneath while the outside's drying. Then I put a skim coat on both of them and I'm done. If I can close my eyes and feel it, then you'll see it once the paint's on there and the sun hits it in different ways. If the sun's directly on it, you won't see it, but if it goes, you have evening sun where it starts skimming it, you will see the waves. So let's go ahead and put another coat on here, skim it out really smooth. Alright, this is all really smooth now. I filled in that little divot that I had here that I could feel earlier. It was a tiny wave that you really couldn't see, but I could feel it. And over here, this is tight. Check out this too. This part is done too, and it's as smooth as could be. You can't even tell there was a seam there. That paper held up real well when I taped this on here and sanded it. And now this part's smooth. We're ready to go ahead and prime it. Before you prime it, make sure you don't have any dust over there. Clean it off real well. I'm full of dust, but I wiped all of this down. So now I'm ready to put a coat of primer on it. I installed the light back in, and I put it in the same way I took it off. What you have is a neutral, a ground, and a hot wire. Your black, white, and ground. That's all you have. So you hook it right back up the same way. All we need to do now is check to see if it works. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to my channel because I've got a lot more coming up. We're going to be painting this house, changing some siding, and fixing some other things on it. So check it out. I'll see you on the next project.